So, in this video, we're going to look at 7 bad morning habits that you should probably avoid. Now, not only can some of these be bad for your productivity, but also some of them can be negative towards your health and other factors that I think are going to be important to fully understand. So let's just get started with this video. Let's start with one of the first habits that I think can really be unproductive, or something that I think could not be the best option for us when we wake up in the morning. Because when we start our day, this is going to be one of the most important things that's going to set track for the rest of the day, looking at how our morning goes. And so the first one here is planning your day. You heard me right. I said one of the worst habits you can do in the morning is planning your day. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a big planner. I like to plan my days. I like to plan my weeks, my months, and my years. But if you are planning your day when you wake up in the morning, you're already losing. Now, the idea here is that you should really be doing this at least the night before, because imagine you wake up in the morning and suddenly you realize that maybe you have too much stuff to do. You have too many things or obligations for the day. You have scheduling conflicts. And you don't realize this until the morning that you wake up. So then for maybe a couple of hours, you're scrambling around trying to fix these scheduling errors or these conflicts that you have. So by creating the schedule the night before, by planning your day the day before, it's going to be putting you in such a better position. This is a very simple thing that you can do. I do this probably 15 minutes before I go to bed. I just write down all the things that I need to do for the next day, all the tasks and obligations that I might have, so that I don't have to wake up and start scrambling around, realizing that I should have woken up 2 hours earlier because I had a bigger project that day. And so just doing that, it's going to be so much better. Trust me, start planning those days the night before rather than the morning of. So number 2 is waking up at inconsistent times. You know, if you are waking up at various times throughout the week, maybe on Saturdays you're waking up at 11 a.m. and then on Mondays you're waking up at 5 a.m. and then you're trying to flip your schedule around. Trust me, this does not work very well. The best strategy to take here, something that I've adopted, and you know, I'm still not great at this. Sometimes I do wake up a little bit later than what I might have intended to, but creating some type of schedule so that you wake up at a consistent time every morning is going to have such an impact on your life. You know, this doesn't mean that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. I'll be honest, lately, for most of the summer, I've been waking up at around 7 a.m., which, you know, it's not particularly early. A lot of people wake up at 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning. For the summer, I've been waking up at 7, but I've been keeping it very consistent for the summer. You know, probably when we get into Q4, we get into the fall, I'll be waking up probably closer to 5, but keeping that specific schedule so that, you know, even if maybe you're out late one night on a Friday night, you're still waking up at that consistent time. Because otherwise, let's imagine you go out on a Friday night, you spend some time with your friends, and you don't get back until 1 in the morning, and then the next morning you end up waking up at 10 a.m. Well, then that night, because you woke up at 10 a.m., you probably aren't going to fall asleep until later, and it throws you into this downward spiral. Especially this message is for people who maybe you're a student taking classes online and you don't have a strict schedule, or maybe you make your own hours, or you don't have any hours to work in the first place. And so if you fall into that category, still try to stick to that schedule. If you have a 9 to 5, you probably already wake up at specific times to begin with. But keeping that in mind is definitely something that's going to be very important for the morning. So another bad habit is not doing some type of exercise in the morning. This doesn't mean that you have to go out and run a marathon every morning when you wake up, but doing something so that you're not going directly from your bed to your desk. Being that most people are working from home today especially, this is what a lot of us are doing. And this can have not only some bad negative health effects on us for sitting at our desk for 9 hours consecutively right after we wake up, but it has a lot of other bad effects as well. So what I like to do is just something very simple. You know, this doesn't, like I said, doesn't mean you have to go out and do a full-blown workout as soon as you wake up, but even something as simple as just going for a swim, going for a 20-minute walk somewhere, just to get the blood flowing so that you feel a little bit more alert, you feel a little bit more awake, rather than just sort of slumped over in your chair, crawling out of bed, going into your chair and looking at your computer for 9 hours straight. It's not very healthy, and I think a lot of us know that. There's actually a couple of studies that maybe I'll try to remember to link these below. Sometimes I forget to link them in the description, but there's a few studies where they almost related sitting as to the new smoking, and how bad it can really be of sitting all day and not exercising and not getting very much activity going on with your bodies. Arguably one of the worst habits that I've seen so many of us have is that when we wake up, we don't drink enough liquids in the morning. You know, see, I'm actually not very different from this plant right here. You know, we might look a little different, we might not look the same, but to be honest with you, we actually have a lot of similarities, and one of them being that we both need a lot of water. And just as a plant needs water, we need a ton of water as well. I don't think I really have to tell you that, but surprisingly, we do have to bring this up because what I've noticed is that so many of my friends will wake up and they don't drink any water until 2 or 3 in the afternoon, until dinner time they start to drink a glass of water. Look, you need to hydrate yourself because your brain is running on water. It needs liquids. And I find that if I'm not drinking a lot of water throughout my day, especially within the first 5 minutes of waking up, I start to get headaches. I'm not able to think clearly. And so just drinking water like this is going to be very, very useful in your life. Gotta love it. It's pretty good water, actually. Next one is hitting the snooze button. Now, I think the majority of us do already know this, yet we still set 5 or 6 alarms because we know that we're not going to wake up to the first 3. And the 4th one, we're going to press snooze. The 5th one, we're going to press snooze. And the 6th one, well, it's probably already too late and we probably already missed work or something else important. So what I want you to do, and this is just a strategy that I use that actually works really well, is I just put my alarm, which is actually just my phone usually, on the other side of the room. And so it forces me to get up. I can't ignore it. It's a really just annoying alarm. So, but yeah, so just don't use the snooze button. I disabled it from my phone because I know that if I have the snooze button, I can back up with it. I can use it as a last resort, and I end up using it all the time. I abuse the snooze buttons. Next tip, don't spend time on social media when you wake up in the morning. I don't check my phone for at least the first 30 minutes to an hour when I wake up. Now, there are some times when I do need to check messages. Maybe I sent something the night before and it's pretty important, but for the most part, I do not check my messages, especially when I'm in my bed. You know, if I want to really check something in the morning, I have to at least get out of my bed and get to my phone, which is on the other side of the room, because this is how I sleep, as I explained earlier. It's something that I would definitely suggest doing so that you're not laying in bed looking at your phone, because you know how this works. We wake up in the morning, we check our messages, then we start scrolling through Instagram, then we end up on the Instagram Explore page, then we end up on TikTok for 5 minutes, which turns into an hour, and next thing we know, it's 9:30 in the morning and we're still laying in bed. We've been laying in bed for 2 hours looking at our phone, browsing, and it wastes so much time. So don't use your phone, especially social media, while you're laying in bed. It's just such a time waster, and it's not a good habit to start your day sort of reacting to everything instead of being proactive and working on the things that you need to do in the mornings especially. And the last bad habit that I think does plague so many of us is sort of creating this busy work or these distractions from the goals that actually need to be done during the day. This is something that most of us do subconsciously, myself included. I do this far too often, and I've started to really catch myself from doing this quite recently. A great example of this is we wake up in the morning, we know that we have a certain amount of tasks for the day. Maybe we have work, maybe we have some different projects that we're working on, or we have to study for a big exam coming up or a project. But what we decide to do instead, very subconsciously, we don't think about this, we create these other distractions or these problems. For example, oh, I have to take out the trash. It's trash day today. Or I want to clean my room before I start working because I can't focus. All of these little distractions, these little busy work things that we do, these $10 an hour jobs that we do in our own home. Maybe this is, oh, you know, I need to go do some grocery shopping before I can get started with my work. And we end up pushing off our work through the whole day. We just push off our actual tasks for the day until the sun goes down. We say, you know, I really didn't get anything done today. And you start to scratch your head and think about it, and you haven't gotten anything done because we're creating these little distractions. So schedule those distractions for some time in your day, but make sure in the morning, especially for the first half of the day, you're focusing on your tasks, and then you can do those distractions and that busy work later in the day when you can find time for it. But make sure that you set time aside for that. So those are some of my best tips for you and some of the things that you want to avoid in the mornings when you wake up. We have a lot of bad habits. This isn't a prescription for everyone saying that you should be doing all of these or should not be doing all of these. These are just some of my ideas and things that have helped me. So if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and I guess drop a like on the video as well. And I'll see everybody in next week's video.